Now, let's go back to this stuff here. There is a pattern which connects John Lewis to Virgin, to Emirates, to Apple. There is a pattern which connects in terms of their customer service excellence. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is it. All of those brands have a set of explicit standards. Explicit standards. They have a set of rules by which people are expected to play if they want to be part of the team. If you want to be part of the Apple family, you want to be part of the Emirates family, the Virgin family, whatever brand you can think of, there are certain things that you've got to do if you want to be part of it. And they come in 5 different categories, folks. And the first one is this: environment. Now think about you, your workplace. You and the brand have certain expectations about how the environment is presented. Is that correct? Yeah, and you have pretty stringent expectations about how the workplace should be presented and how customers should experience your brand. Is that right? Yeah, absolutely right. Same in Apple, same in Amazon, same in, you name the brand, there are expectations. What else? Well, there are certain processes. If I want to come and work for you, there are certain processes that you expect me to follow. Yes? Yeah. We just talked about them, haven't we? You've got loads of them. What else? Well, there's an expectation that I will have taken trouble to learn some stuff. And in your industry, there's a whole pile of knowledge-based activities that you expect your people to have, to be fully informed. Is that true? Yeah, all right. What else we got? Well, here's the big part of today, ladies and gentlemen, is about behaviours. Your folk are expected to behave in a certain way. And here is it described explicitly. These explicit standards are described here. This is what your folk are expected to do. If they want to be part of your family, they better deliver on it. Just like all of those other brands have explicit standards. And the final one that we've got here, closely aligned with the behaviours, is V for values. The sort of values that you have as a brand, values you have as an organisation, you expect people to uphold and live to those values, just like those brands do there. Happy with that? Makes sense, doesn't it? But here's the challenge. Oh, just drives you nuts. They're just words. That's all they are. All of that stuff there about process, all of this stuff here about, they're just words until they're turned into behaviour. We've got any sports people or ex-sports people who played for sports teams, football, cricket, netball, hockey, you know, I don't know, whatever it was. I wonder how many of you were, you know, you spent time in the changing rooms and there was always one person who was full of that. You remember? But they didn't necessarily deliver it out on the paddock. You met them? Yeah. But on the field, they don't necessarily deliver. There are a lot of commercial entities who've got these things, but they don't deliver. And they've got them on the wall. They've got them in fancy training books. They've got e-learning, you know. They've got stuff they put on the wall, promises to customers. They've got it all. It's all described in great detail. Glossy brochures. Marketing department spent a fortune on it. But it's not delivered. So here's the conversation. I'm with just an amazing brand next week. I can't tell you who they are. It's just, it's in the sports clothing arena. They're just so much fun. Almost as much fun as you. They're a great brand. But I'm going to have this conversation with the big boss, and this is how it's going to go. He, a French guy, he is going to say to me, "Hey Nick, thanks for coming all the way from the Isle of Wight in England. You know, we've got a bit of a challenge." And I said, "Really? What's that?" He'll say, "Well, you know, we've got all these expectations for our staff. They're all described explicitly. We've got all these training programs. But, you know, across it's a global firm. Across our global estate, we've got some pockets of excellence. Some of the people and some of the countries are just delivering. They're just amazing. I can't fault them. They're incredible. I wish everybody could be like that." And he said, "But the vast majority are just sort of doing all right. I can't complain. They're hitting the numbers. They're behaving all right. like acres of mediocrity. And then he's going to say, because it's the same conversation every time, then he's going to say, I've got some pits of despair. Doesn't matter what I do. You know, we give them the resource, we give them the marketing budget, we give them the material, we give them the processes, we give them the training, we give them the product, we give them everything. But I can't get them there, and I certainly can't get them there. You know what I want more than anything, Nick? What we want in this global brand is we want consistency. Can you help? Yeah. Yeah, we can help. Temporarily. Temporarily, we can create consistency through fabulous training. Whether it's sales training, customer service training, process training, product training, you name it, there's all sorts of training. Your organization's got some awesome training packages. You've got some great stuff. Except, now this is where learning and development professionals just have to close your ears for a moment. Training doesn't work. How dare he say that? It doesn't work. I'll tell you why. Training is like wet mud thrown on the wall, particularly soft skills. You throw it up against the wall, some of it sticks, most of it slides straight off, it forms a big puddle of brown water on the floor, it leaves behind a little bit of sediment. That's what training's like. When people leave the training room, you can see the learning falling off them as they walk out the door. They get downstairs, they get in the car. By the time they got in the car on the M40 or whatever, most of it's forgotten. They get home, they've definitely forgotten it. They get into work the next day and the colleague says, what was the course like? And you say, well, lunch was good. Doesn't work. Unless, you mean there's hope? You mean there's hope? You haven't had lunch yet, John. This is what happens. Think about it. Think about it. You go on the course, you get all excited, don't you? You think, oh, I'm going to start implementing all of this. I'm definitely going to do this when I get back to work. You're busy folk. What sort of stuff do you have to deal with in the mornings when you get to work? What kind of things? Staffing issues? Yeah, customer stuff, obviously no complaints from anybody. Unreasonable requests from the manufacturer, all sorts of stuff, right? What happens to your plans to implement this change by about, I don't know, coffee time, right? But it can work. It can work. If you get the final piece in place, ladies and gentlemen, that's what today's about. Is sustainability. English is a dreadful language. I'll explore that. This is actually two words, isn't it? The ability to sustain. Now, if you can do that, suddenly, all this amazing training is gold dust. But you've got to do two things in an organization, whether it's your organization or any other ones. This is what you've got to do, right? I'm doing this a long time, decades and decades. This is the truth. You can take that amazing training, first thing you've got to do is turn it into new behavior. We know that, we talked about it earlier. So the knowledge has got to be turned into behavior. Happy with that? It's a given, isn't it? It's a truism, it's a statement of the obvious. Knowledge has to be turned into behavior. But the second piece is this, the behavior has to be sustained. Every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year with every customer in every part of your network. Now if you can do that, this stuff now is just awesome. It's awesome because it's changing behaviors and it's sustaining it. You know, in the past, the best thing about the past is it's over, isn't it? But in the past, you ran training events, you changed behaviors and it lasted for a little bit, didn't it? And then what happened? You went back to the old ways, didn't you? It kind of fizzled out. It has to be sustained, and the way that we create sustainability, ability to sustain, the way that we do that is through fast coaching. That means that the person who's been on the training program is helped to apply the stuff that they know in their day-to-day behavior every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year with every customer. If you can do that, you're on a winner, folks. That's what we're going to learn today. Would you like to know how to do that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.